underway. New Terrains, Equinoxes, and Trailblazers starting at $23,290. That's right, $23,290. Also, we've continued our huge Sierra and Silverado truck sale with over $10,000 off new pickups. You heard right, over $10,000 off list. Coppel truly has a small town feel with big city deals. We're right down 144th Street or at coppelcars.com. Stock numbers G260980 and C119824.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Serve Nebraska believes that volunteers are part of what makes Nebraska great. Each year, the Step Forward Awards honors volunteers from across the state who serve their communities in outstanding ways. We hope you'll join us this year at the Step Forward Awards luncheon on October 27th in Omaha. Help us thank volunteers with a celebration to remember. To register, visit serve.nebraska.gov and click Register Now. We hope to see you there. Paid for by Serve Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started. You can get diesel anywhere, but what about atomic diesel? That comes from Stern. Atomic Diesel is your solution to all your cold weather problems. Prevent clogged fuel filters, increase your fuel economy, and save money with Atomic Diesel. Contact Roger at Stern today by calling 1-800-477-2744 to see how Atomic Diesel and the rest of their line of fuels and lubricants can keep your operation running at max capacity.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career? Or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Serve Nebraska believes that volunteers are part of what makes Nebraska great. Each year, the Step Forward Awards honors volunteers from across the state who serve their communities in outstanding ways. We hope you'll join us this year at the Step Forward Awards luncheon on October 27th in Omaha. Help us thank volunteers with a celebration to remember. To register, visit serve.nebraska.gov and click Register Now. We hope to see you there. Paid for by Serve Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. The last few years have been wild, but we've been here for you through all the ups and downs, and we'll be here for you when you need us the most. For all your travels and for your day-to-day driving. With winter conditions causing problems all over town, the last thing anyone needs this year is constant car troubles. Let us help you drive in peace and make sure you drive to work and to winter destinations safe. A1 Automotive, 11th and L Street downtown, always honest answers.
Prashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Happy Hour. Husker softball in all preseason polls. In the 4 polls, 13th, 15th, 17th, and 18th. USA Softball is part of that. Softball America is one of them as well. D1 Softball. Top 20 as a team, and they have
at least 2 players in every top 50, top 100 poll, with Jordy Ball being anywhere from second. Honestly, I think third was her lowest ranking in some of those. And Billy Andrews. Usually it's those two. There was one that had Kate Kaneda.
Weekdays from 1 to 2 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown. 45 yards.
And return specialist.
This time he beats the kicker and one more.
DeMornay Pierson'El.
Not only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson'El, but Pierson'El has confidence in Pierson'El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into Ticket Weeknights. I'm Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. As always, we got the host, DeMornay Pierson'El, streaming in. And again, if you guys want to join the show, Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. Streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo Channel 961. Always a great spot to put a face to the voice. It's your first time listening. Again, go ahead and give me your favorite DPE punt return, as it seems to be a pretty good one to get things going here. I know he was this Michigan State, as we figured that out yesterday. But I do want to dive in to a couple things here, mainly Russell Wilson, where we left off yesterday. But nonetheless, DeMornay Pierson'El, how's it going on this Tuesday night?
That's a beautiful Tuesday night.
Yes, absolutely. It's gorgeous out. Husker hoops looking good there. Women and men's. You pick your team there. Both looking pretty solid. But let's go ahead and dive into this conversation. We can always talk about Husker hoops if we got time for it later in the show. We said it yesterday. Russell Wilson let go for $85 million. Well, I should say the Broncos willing to accept $85 million in dead cap, the largest in NFL history. He's actually got the third largest. He's been part of 2 of those massive dead cap spaces for these NFL franchises. But that being said, he still threw 21 touchdowns last year. I think he only had about 14 picks. I wouldn't call Russell Wilson washed. Do you see Russell Wilson finding a new home before the season starts, potentially that he might be willing to take quite a bit of a bargain of a deal because he's already got about $36 million guaranteed?
I think so. I think, there's somewhere where he can land that can help, whether if, say, for instance, Minnesota drafts a young guy, second, third round, they might not, be able to move up and get, one of the top 4 guys. They get somebody that they like, secondly, second, third round, you bring in Russell and you kind of just have him grooming, kind of the Patrick, Mahomes effect, give him a year to kind of sit and kind of just gauge things. Mm-hmm. So that year one will be, year one on them, year one for, the rookie to be on the field will be their second year, and they just kind of take off more so than struggle, how we've seen, some of these other rookie quarterbacks do it. He's not terrible enough to where he can't still play at a high level. There are some flaws, I think, in his game still. One of the reasons, I think why Denver's getting rid of him probably because they realize that he's not really efficient in their intermediate ball enough. I mean, in the intermediate throw enough.
Right.
And, they just, that rather than just kind of, waiting it out, and they rather just rip the Band-Aid off and, go a different direction.
Yeah, and I didn't even give him his proper stats. Last season, 26 touchdowns, 8 picks, 15 games. Not bad at all. To me, we kind of said it yesterday, I think, because more the Broncos not figuring out with the head coaching situation, firing him almost immediately after you get Russell Wilson. Felt like Denver never knew what they really wanted to do either, and trying to build around him. What's a good spot for Russell? Oh, go ahead, before we'll talk about the spot.
I feel like they kind of set Russell up for failure, with that first year. Again, like I said, Nathaniel Hackett, they probably thought Aaron Rodgers was going to come, and that's who they wanted.
Yep.
When they realized that wasn't going on, they went second best. And, that's the Broncos' fault on that part. There's a little bit of, allowing Russ to do certain stuff and, creating a lot of other outside, I wouldn't even say distractions, but other, just a lot of attention that was unnecessary. And they just feel like, with him being on the field, it wasn't adding up. So I mean, it's Russ had his part in it, you know, and the organization had their part in it.
Yeah, that's a safe way to put it, because Russ, he certainly didn't do himself too many favors off the field with some of those shenanigans as well. But again, I do think he's going to have a good shot at redemption here. The Broncos, they got the 12th pick, so I'd imagine the Broncos, considering the quarterback class this year looks pretty deep, I think they might just hang around and see what they can get. Outside of that, doesn't feel like them getting Justin Fields will be likely on what they could possibly offer. What would be a good landing spot for Russell Wilson? Because there's plenty of teams out there. If there's one thing that's for certain, that there's NFL teams out there that are unsure of their quarterback or absolutely need to move on and get a new one.
Me personally, I think Pittsburgh would be a good fit. The type of ball that they kind of, you know, the style. You know, when he was in Seattle, you know, they had, you know, beast mode in the backfield. You know, they had Doug Baldwin, you know, on the outside, but, you know, they were more so of a, you know, running team. They weren't, you know, through the air. And I think, you know, Pittsburgh is built similar to favor, you know, his style of play.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there would be, you know, a nice spot. It depends, you know, who wins the Justin Fields sweepstakes. And it also depends on, you know, what is the money going to look like for that. You know, a lot of people are not, they don't want to deal with, you know, with the stuff that he might come with and, you know, the money required. So you might catch a discount this year. If he gets, you know, a reasonable contract, I think somebody will be more likely to pull something, but I feel like it depends on, you know, what he's asking for, what people value, you know, that. Commanders could use him just because.
Raiders.
You know,
what about a Raiders uniform with Russell Wilson? They got the 13th pick in the draft.
I mean that wouldn't be bad. Again, like I said, the Raiders have a high enough pick to where they can move around and probably get, you know, one of the top 3 QBs if they want to. So it all depends on, you know, what they want to do. I think he could fit in Vegas. What they're trying to do, especially, you know, if they re-sign, you know, Josh Jacobs. But I mean, we've seen this dance before with Jimmy. I was absolutely pissed with that. So I think he would be better than Jimmy.
I think he would too.
You know, I think they could win, you know, probably 3 to 4 more games than what they did this past year if he was there. You know, just is that the right person for the job though? That I don't know.
Yeah, to me, I would say Raiders because again, I'm in a high belief, and based on what Russell Wilson is saying too, if you're reading between the lines, he's definitely he's pretty much just straight up saying it. Seems pretty likely that he's going to get a bargain. So if you are the Raiders, you can go ahead and get yourself Russell Wilson. You don't have to sweat about that cap space. And again, cheap contract. If he ends up not being the guy, you can at least have winning, selling football tickets to an actual competitive team. All in the meantime, you're not hurting your bottom line with Russell Wilson. I think with the situation they're in, I'd definitely go take Russell Wilson. Because again, I'm gonna go ahead and say that next season, if he lands in a good spot, there's always part of it where if he lands somewhere, you know, say the Carolina Panthers, which he won't end up there, but there's certain franchises where he could definitely be distraught. Let's move on from Russell Wilson, though. I think Raiders be my fit for him. I think that's the best place I'd like to see him. You could really arguably pick a few spots. Kirk Cousins, obviously, have not reached an agreement with the Vikings yet. Kirk Cousins is a weird one because the Vikings, he's been solid with the Vikings, but it's whether or not you believe, can he lead you to Super Bowl?
No.
Do you see a good home for Kirk Cousins?
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay looks like they're moving closer to closing a deal on keeping Baker Mayfield.
I understand that. I still think, you know, they're similar with, you know, missing throws and a lot of stuff. He's coming off of, you know, arguably, you know, in this day's age, you know, probably the toughest injury with Achilles. That's kind of like how the ACL was, you know, about 10, 15 years ago. You can come back from it, but it's still not quite all the way figured out on how to maintain stuff. So, I mean, depending on, you know, what the money is, and where he's going to play at. Is he going to play outdoors? Is he going to play indoors? He's been playing in a dome. New England. I don't think he would be a bad fit in New England. You don't know what they're going to do with Mac Jones. So again, and it depends on the sweepstakes of who's in for Justin Fields or not. So
that's a big concern for mine. There's not a lot of buzz for Fields. Go ahead. I'll cut you off there.
You say that, but that could be a filler. Again, a smokescreen for a lot of stuff. To where people won't have to pay out for him. He hasn't been injury prone. Kirk Cousins has. He's had a few injuries. He's up there in age. He's a younger quarterback. So depending on how that's handled with the choosing of that will open up. Okay, well that's off the table. Okay, these guys. So I'm assuming around closer to the draft, you'll see a lot of these dudes kind of figure out where they're going to go, or right after the draft. So the guys that the teams that really need a quarterback, I think you will see them make a move up to get the type of players that they want.
Yeah, see, this is where this draft and where I was kind of going with that Bears, because it's such a deep quarterback class this year is what it feels like. I mean, you're seeing, as we're talking about the Patriots, a lot of people are thinking they might go ahead and go after McCarthy, which would be an interesting fit there to see how he works alongside Bill Belichick. Mac Jones, I don't think I mean, you're not going to get much for him, if anything at all. You're just going to move some money around Mac Jones. It just feels like for the Bears, because there's so many quarterbacks in this draft class, teams aren't as eager to jump on Fields as much as I thought they would. It still seems like there's some good offers there with the Falcons. Again, some of that smoke screen, like you're saying. I still think the Bears are going to go ahead and take Caleb Williams. With this being said, though, as you see the market do kind of drop a little bit for Justin Fields, you still think it's the right move. Would you move on and go ahead and get Williams despite what seems to be a drop in the market for Fields?
I don't think it's a right move to move on. That's just me, outside looking in. But from a business standpoint, he's coming up, on year 4, year 5. That 5th-year option. He's a first-round draft quarterback, a top 10 pick. So it's going to be some type of money, situated. You don't have to break the bank, but instead of paying that, what can you do? Trade him off, get some type of compensation for him, draft another guy draft another rookie for 4 to 5 years to where you won't have to break the bank. As I said, the Bears aren't a money spending organization. They don't really pay players. So I think they're gonna wipe the slate clean. New face of it. Hopefully, get a 2nd round, maybe a 1st round, a 3rd and a 5th, maybe, depending on what are the options there. But I mean, not a lot of people are giving up multiple 1st rounds to get Justin. So if that's what they're waiting on, that's not. If you're waiting on the Carolina deal that got you in this position, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, Carolina's got nothing else to give away. You can't get them with it 2 times. You pretty much already robbed them the first time around. As I'm looking at these homes, I'm with you there. The Cleveland Browns, that seems like one more team that we haven't really talked about much with their quarterback situation. Who do you see landing as the Browns QB? Or do you think they keep on keeping up with Deshaun Watson? Because I still feel like the Browns are eager to find any possible backdoor situation from what has so far been just an awful Watson contract.
That's an interesting one.
Because to me, that's where Fields, I would really try to pressure the Browns into seeing if they would want Fields, because that fits their offensive style as well. I mean, that's a system that would be perfectly built, at least in my opinion, with Justin Fields.
I could see that. I think he would benefit. He has, weapons in the backfield and weapons at the tight end, weapons, on the perimeter. You got a head coach he's turned them around.
Yeah.
So I can see Justin there, but again, we're going to be talking about another situation like Russell, if they move on. So I think, I give them, another year to figure out, give, Deshaun another chance or another year to kind of see exactly what is up. He was hurt this year. It was a lot of stuff. He took a year off coming back. So I don't think that ship has sailed yet. They haven't come out negatively and said it hasn't worked out, to what they would have thought or would have wanted, but he's been hurt, so you haven't really seen him at full capacity. So I think they hold off there and work somewhere else. I mean, it's not like they can't sign, Flacco again and rattle, games off. So I think they're probably safe with who they got and who they like. And we'll see.
Yeah, so I'm completely out on Deshaun Watson. I think he will have some serviceable, like he'll have some good years. He won't just be abysmal forever, but I just don't think we'll ever see the ceiling of what we saw.
I don't think he just fits for that offense. They don't spread the ball out. They're an AFC North hard-nosed run in between tackles type team. It's not what you were in Houston. You know what I'm saying? Like in Houston, they were airing it out.
Yes.
Intermediate, short, deep balls, so that's more of the, the offense that he needs to kind of be in. I just don't think it is. I don't think, the type of game he brings fits them. And is that on the coach to not change necessarily, to something that suits him better? I don't know, because they've been winning. So if it ain't broke, are you necessarily going to? Is that something to be fixed? That's you got to have a conversation on what is your personnel with moving forward.
Yeah, to me, you're right. It's just such an overpay for Watson. Like you said, you're gonna have to figure out some sort of trade. But the reason I think, because of what you said, there's still some promise there. You move on from him now. Like you said, you can get something back for him, as opposed to you try to go through a year, and if it just doesn't click, even if you're winning a lot of games, you're overpaying for a quarterback when we just saw Flacco do it. And that's a quarterback you just.
I mean, don't get me wrong. No, Flacco's a Super Bowl quarterback. Like, that's not that's something.
Cheaper is my point. He's cheaper. You could save a ton of money and allocate that money to better spots, better uses. If you want to pay Flacco that money, I've got no problem.
He's cheaper because of age, not because of like he got in. He can do that, necessarily in his sleep. That type of offense that they were running, that's what they were running back in Baltimore. He had Ray Rice, going up and down the field. And, I don't think, their true number one receiver probably touched 1,000 yards. So that's his type of ball. He's been, in the AFC North his whole career. Like he knows that. So you can plug him in and he's a true vet. It don't matter.
Fair enough. As we're speaking of quarterbacks here, before we get to our first break here, give me your comeback quarterback of the year. Which quarterback, I don't know, young, old, or even, CJ Stroud, where he just continues excellence and maybe even MVP candidate. Who is that comeback quarterback of the year? Maybe even Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to stick with it. As crazy as it sounds, I think Russell Wilson will end up in a spot that just serves him a lot better. Again, his stats last year, they weren't even bad. They were actually pretty good compared to most quarterbacks. A lot of quarterbacks wish they had his stats last year. So I think he'll take a cheap contract. He'll be able to kind of get on a team that's able to contend. I think it's Russell Wilson, as crazy as that might have sounded at the beginning of last year's NFL season.
Comeback. That's hard. Deshaun, you can throw in there. Kurt, you can throw in there.
I'm not throwing Hurts in there. I don't know what's happening with the
Eagles.
He
wasn't hurt. Like,
when I say comeback, I'm talking not from injury. Comeback in terms of just not great or good.
Oh, Justin Herbert. Okay. Justin Herbert.
That's a good one. New head coach.
Justin Herbert for sure. I think he's gonna look completely different than what we've seen with him at Oregon. What we've seen, these last 3 to 5 years. You have a head coach, and he's not far from it. But you got a guy that has turned around, organizations on a collegiate level and the NFL level. So I think Harbaugh is gonna turn things around quicker than not. So I think a big year for Herbert is coming.
Yeah, that's a good one. I've got an unknown texter here, 4951. Tua. Tua's one of the most shaky quarterbacks I'm on because it just feels like you got all the offensive weapons in the world. Yeah, I don't like it.
He's injury prone. Like if he couldn't, he might sneeze too hard and get a concussion.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to, so it's just
it's a fair concern.
I don't, it's almost fool's gold. Like I don't want to, I like the pick. Yes, second year in that offense, you have the weapons. I agree, but you also got to go through Buffalo. You also, in the AFC, you also got to go through Kansas City. We've seen how things get when you play later on in the season and it's cold. I don't know where his health is going to be at. Every year he's been in the league, he's been hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So for that alone, it makes me nervous. So I can't pick him.
Where are we at with Mike McDaniels? Because he went from the NFL's beloved head coach to, I feel like if he has one more bad season with the Miami Dolphins, everyone's going to be pointing the fingers at him.
But was that a bad season? What about it was bad?
Towards the end, when it felt like after they lost to the Buffalo Bills towards the end of the regular season, even though there's plenty of games left on their plate, kind of what Nebraska had, kind of controlled their own destiny. It's up to you to just win a game. Couldn't get it done.
It's a first-year head coach. Mm-hmm. He made the playoffs. He was number 2 in his division. He probably had a top 5 offense. Like, you expecting him to do what the Chiefs did his first year or do what the 49ers did? Like, year one, that you're probably 1 or 2 games away, probably 1 game from winning your conference.
Fair enough. Well, we know this much. The Morning Pierson'El fans are quick and finicky, even owners, when it comes to head coaches. So it's worth mentioning.
Gotta be realistic. Gotta be realistic. Come on. Come on.
We've seen it.
They lost to the defending Super Bowl champs who end up winning again. Like what?
Well, you got to win more games, so you got to play the defending champs. No, I'm just kidding. But with that being said,
they could have said the same thing about Mahomes. Mahomes, it took him 3 years, you know what I'm saying, to really get things going.
Yeah. Did you see the Chiefs dynasty being may have to talk about this in the next one, but real quick before we go to break, won that Patriots for about 20 years of just straight dominance. At that point in time, were you looking at the Chiefs as the next successor? Did you have that in your head?
No.
Me neither. So we'll talk about it on the other side. Don't go anywhere. This is the Don't Punt Hour. We're here with Morning Pierson'El, the host as always. You guys can always join in. 402-464-5685. Go ahead. Give me your comeback quarterback of next season. We'll throw it to break. Don't go anywhere.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Partly cloudy skies expected tonight. Overall quiet conditions as we'll see a low dropping down to around 32. A little breezy at times tomorrow under a mix of sun and clouds. South winds could gust near 20 miles per hour with an afternoon high of around 62. We'll have a slight chance of showers tomorrow night with a low dropping to 38. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
I could write a commercial telling you how great waffle weekends are at the chocolate season. Or I could just have Rico read you the menu.
Banana Nutella topped Belgian waffle with homemade whipped cream, chocolate chips, and freshly sliced bananas. Baconator, buttermilk waffle with bacon slices tucked inside, topped with salted whipped butter, caramelized pecans, and pure maple syrup.
Waffle weekend brunches at the chocolate season.
PB&J.
40th and Old Cheney or online at thechocolatseason.com.
At Allo, we believe in the exceptional. From extraordinary whole home coverage to super fast speeds, our local teams are always on hand to make sure your service is running at top performance. Let go of lag, banish buffering, and enjoy outstanding service throughout your entire home. We believe in delivering nothing less than exceptional service, so that's exactly what we do. Visit us at allofiber.com to experience the exceptional.
Basketball fans know assists are crucial to winning. The skill of setting up others is an art. And one Nebraskan team that takes that art to a new level, it's Platte Valley Equipment. Their team always sets you up for land care success with sound advice and John Deere equipment. And Platte Valley always delivers low monthly payments. That's one assist that's a slam dunk. Visit PlatteValleyEquipment.com. Proud sponsor of the 2024 NSAA Boys and Girls High School State Basketball Tournament.
Hog Wild's giant stuffed baked potatoes are anything but basic and really hit the spot when you're craving a little comfort food. Nothing is more satisfying than a Hog Wild baked potato loaded with butter, sour cream, cheddar cheese, bacon bits, and chives. Add your choice of a Hog Wild house smoked meat like pulled pork, chicken, or brisket for a little extra. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
As the chief buffet officer here at Pizza Ranch, I get all kinds of buffet questions. Here's one from Cole.
Is there a real cactus in your cactus bread?
Great question, Cole. No, there is no cactus in our cactus bread, just sweet cinnamony streusel. It's on our buffet every day, along with pizza, chicken, ice cream, and all your other favorites. Even better, at least for your parents, kids eat free on Tuesday nights. And don't worry, Cole, there's no coal in our coleslaw either.
Pizza Ranch, everyone's favorite buffet. 93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Partly cloudy skies expected tonight. Overall quiet conditions as we'll see a low dropping down to around 32. A little breezy at times tomorrow under a mix of sun and clouds. South winds could gust near 20 miles per hour with an afternoon high of around 62. We'll have a slight chance of showers tomorrow night with a low dropping to 38. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
You did feel the need to cuss in this one. Yeah, you cannot be this mentally fragile. Act like you're a damned NCAA tournament team.
Listen, I'm not going to change the way I tweet.
Do
you think Fred
That's
saw
me.
the tweet? Do you think Fred saw the tweet and called a timeout? And they're like, Sorensen's upset. I got to get this.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson'El.
All right, welcome back into Ticket Weeknights. This is the Don't Punt Hour with the host, as always, DeMornay Pierson'El streaming in. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos back here at the 11th and O corner at the 93.7 Ticket Studios. You guys can always join in. 402-464-5685 is the Sartor Heyman text line. Before we went to break there, I did ask you if you saw the uprising of the Chiefs and all the fans coming with it. And a real quick note, as we kind of talk about the fans, I do want to shout this out as this came out about an hour ago. Nebraska basketball at the Vault PBA, 7th in the nation in terms of attendance. So for being a football school, 7th in the attendance for your basketball program. Well done to all of Husker Nation on that one. But did you see this Chiefs uprising happening? Because I remember back then I was thinking all Buffalo Bills. I thought it was going to be Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, and here we are with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and company. They're knocking on the door of a three-peat.
You knew that they would be good.
Mm-hmm.
You can trust Andy Reid for that. I didn't think it would be like how it is.
Yeah.
Like it I'm not saying it blindsided you, but it just, it took over, and before you know it, it's just they're in a league of their own, and they've done it, with the fastest wide receiver group probably ever, with the best weapons, this and that, to where, now they've done it with, without those weapons on the perimeter, and a slow down Kels, and they still found a way to win.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you can't knock them. You're gonna have to bring your best shot, and you can't count them out, because it didn't look good. It didn't, and no matter what, they battled back. They went through the gauntlet. So I mean, you got to tip your cap, when you can. I didn't think it would be like that. I didn't see, what they've done in a time period with being, so accomplished in AFC championships, Super Bowl runs and everything like that. It's amazing. Honestly, it's not easy to do. Consistency, is it, and that's something that they have been. And I hate that. I hate the Chiefs. I'm a Raiders fan.
Yeah.
So it hurts to say that, but I mean, I'm gonna be real about it.
It was that Raiders game where I thought this for sure would be the year. The Raiders defensively were just dominating the Chiefs. And I felt like, oh, maybe this is the year where the Chiefs kind of have that humbling playoff postseason run. It wasn't the case. I thought it wasn't going to be the Chiefs, not because Patrick Mahomes and company weren't great, but you're like, man, they got Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. You're looking at the whole league, and it's getting loaded, in particular on the Chiefs side of things. And then here comes Patrick Mahomes and company, just continuing to knock them out. Again, on the door of a three-peat, which if he gets this one, he's more than on pace with Tom Brady, which is just incredible to have a successor, a generational talent like that be followed up by what potentially could be just another incredible generational talent. So, knock on wood, I'm not the biggest Chiefs fan either. I'd love to see it if that stardom was shown somewhere in the Bears franchise. We could use just one QB, let alone watching all these other franchises.
You can use a head coach and a front office. The QB ain't the problem.
In a new arena, an arena that the city doesn't know.
Yeah. It's cold. No.
Yeah. It's as we're kind of wrapping up here with the Kansas City Chiefs, which teams do you think the clock's ticking? I think the Buffalo Bills are obvious, right up there.
Bills for sure. The 49ers. I think you see a lot of people depart from that team. They tried to copy, what the Saints, not the Saints, what the Rams did with all the star power and everything like that. And they did, draft good, but you can't pay everybody. So I think that is starting to. I kind of want to say Baltimore, but not yet. I want to say give them another year, and then I can kind of answer that question.
You don't start sweating about the Ravens until you get to postseason play. That's when you really start, because regular season they look solid as long as everyone's healthy. That's a well-coached, well-functioning team. It's postseason.
The Bengals, not just because the health that Joe being healthy. That's 2 years and 5 probably that he's had season-ending injuries. So I'm not saying that they're running out of time, but you got to figure out, he's been the key to pushing y'all over the edge, and y'all have been knocking on the door right then and there. And 2 seasons he's been out. So I don't know what they got to do with figuring out, with the offensive line and stuff like that, but they need to get that handled, because if he continues, to get hurt like that and everything like that, I don't know if he'll make it to year 10.
Yeah, it is rough with Joe Burrow. Even when And this could have been too, coming back from injury. He's just not feeling comfortable on it. But the Bengals are a good one simply because, yes, injury is a huge concern. Kind of the same thing as Tua. We're just really always concerned about him back there. Burrow's more physical. Tua is just tough. His can feel like it can happen at a moment's instance. So a little difference there. But nonetheless, injury concerns.
Mm-hmm.
Even when he was playing, though, they looked off. The Bengals they looked off. The wide receivers, despite that loaded room, it still felt like they weren't the same as they were.
They were missing Burrow. The confidence, the swagger, the threat, of not counting them out. I think I think they were probably the only team right now to seriously strike fear, probably in Kansas City. Kansas City don't want to see them.
No,
So-
it's absolutely not. I mean, no, they'd rather see the Buffalo Bills because they own them, but this is only the Bengals and the retired Tom Brady. Oddly enough, the only teams that really push the Chiefs around to get to postseason.
I honestly, I'm willing to put Lamar in there. Their offense just had a bad day.
It's just
It happens. It reared its head at the wrong time. They were just off, and they were kind of due for one. Honestly, they were kind of due for one.
But to me, it's like, are you due for one, or was that self-inflicted? Because we talked about that game ad nauseum.
Again, still, completely self-inflicted. But I'm not trying to give the Chiefs an excuse. They were the better team that day.
Mm-hmm.
If they played the day after, I don't think the Chiefs win. But I mean, that's just my own personal opinion. I think the Baltimore has something special. It's just they got to get out of their own way with playoffs.
Yeah. And, maybe that's the thing. It's growing pains. You hear that all the time, whether you believe it or not. It definitely seems to have some statistical backing to it where you get that playoff experience that seems to matter. Now, what about quarterbacks? As I'm assuming if you're going to way too early odds, you're probably thinking Chiefs Super Bowl again, at least to be in it. Because right now, I don't know who the other favorites would be. Which teams on the Chiefs side has the best shot to beat the Chiefs out and get to the Super Bowl themselves?
Depending if Burrow's healthy, I think the Bengals. I think Lamar and them again.
I think it's still got to be the Bills, as crazy as it is. The Bills felt like they had the right game plan just at the very end of the game. They can't ever get that part right.
Yeah. Whose fault is that? Is that the offensive fault? Is that the defensive fault? Like, you got to fix that.
Some dropped passes this year, which was the weird part. I mean, it was just dropped. You can argue a few things, but I mean, Diggs, wide open touchdown through the hands. This was a year where it felt like, man, you're hosting them. You can finally beat them. You can't be dropping passes.
I'm anxious to see what Herbert looks like, honestly. Like, I think what he's done already, early in his career, is like, wow, like, okay, that there's something exciting, but they always, drop the ball. Now you got a coach in there. They're going to be physical. They're going to be well coached. You're going to have something on your hands with that. So I'm anxious to see him.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I'd sign up for that one. That one would be a lot of fun. What about the 49ers with Brock Purdy year 2? Do you think with the team, like you said, the Rams-esque style, pay a bunch of money, obviously unfortunate injuries just in that Super Bowl alone, is that a team that probably, at least I'm thinking, I think that's Bills, 49ers are those two teams for me to go up there and dethrone the Chiefs. Brock Purdy under another year of development looks good in my
That's fine, but okay, who they're paying a lot of people money. McCaffrey's contract is coming up. Trent's contract is coming up. Ayuk, you got to pay Ayuk. You just paid Debo. What about Warner's Hargraves? Your safety Tre'Davious, like they got a lot of key parts.
I think Bosa's coming up on a contract too. To your point,
no. They just paid Bosa. They just paid Bosa.
That's right. Bosa did get paid.
They just paid Bosa this past year, so I understand they raised the cap, but I mean, unless they got unless they got monopoly money, pulling pulling money out of places. I don't know what that team is gonna look like. Because they've had a core group that makes them the 49ers. I don't know how much of that core will be there after with this upcoming year. Because everybody gonna want to get paid.
Yeah, that's definitely by definition on the clock, at least in terms of paying out salaries. I think they still got another year. I think they're going to have to let some people go, but for how dominant they were for the most part, another year with Brock Purdy. To me, it's Bills, 49ers. They look like the strongest chances. Maybe the Ravens. I'd be optimistic. I'd love to see Lamar Jackson get another shot. But again, they've just never been able. They remind me of like what the Boston Celtics look like in the NBA. Really good. They just can't ever get past those crucial rounds in the playoffs. So,
well, that's the Bills. That would be the Bills. They can't get past Mahomes.
Yeah, well,
that's more the Bills than the Ravens.
That's everyone who has to play the Chiefs at this point in the playoffs. Not find a team that's able to get past them consistently. But I do want to talk about another player. This player in the NBA, another injury prone player that he's been tumultuous in the media. And when I say his name, a lot of you guys will recognize it immediately. Played for the Brooklyn Nets, and he's missed about over 3/4 of his game since he's been there. So you can probably take guesses, figure out who we're going to talk about.
Is he a bigger bust than Leach or Russell? Who would be your greatest bust of all time
for all drafts, NBA, everything?
Yep.
Oh.
Think about that. Go ahead. We're gonna go to break.
Yeah, Ryan Leaf's in the running right now. We might have to Mount Rushmore that one. We'll talk about that next on the Don't Punt Hour with the Morning Pierson'El. Don't go anywhere.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
I could write a commercial telling you how great waffle weekends are at the chocolate season. Or I could just have Rico read you the menu.
Banana Nutella topped Belgian waffle with homemade whipped cream, chocolate chips, and freshly sliced bananas. Baconator, buttermilk waffle with bacon slices tucked inside, topped with salted whipped butter, caramelized pecans, and pure maple syrup.
Waffle weekend brunches at the chocolate season.
PB&J.
40th and Old Cheney or online at thechocolateseason.com.
Jake Sorensen here for The Body Shop. My wife is nearing her due date with our first child and has been in need of a good massage as her body continues to change and adapt. Dennis and the team at The Body Shop were incredible with the prenatal massage that she's still talking about today. I was also able to get a deep tissue massage, so it was a great bonding experience and a unique couples massage in general. If you're in need of stress relief, book a massage today at thebodyshoplincoln.com. The Body Shop at 48th and A.
Lane's Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Ironhide Construction is hiring. They're looking for hardworking, self-motivated individuals who are team players. Ironhide Construction has openings for an experienced project manager, estimator, apprentice, skilled laborer, and erector or installer. They will train the right people and make sure you understand the position and requirements. At Ironhide Construction, it's own it, be honest, and do it right. Apply today and learn more about their other benefits at ironhideconstruction.com, where they're committed to you every step of the way.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
How do people feel about getting Big Fitness Energy at Planet Fitness for $1 down and $10 a month? They feel as thrilled as a kid the first summer they're tall enough to ride the roller coaster! That's right. When you join Planet Fitness right now, you'll get access to tons of equipment and free fitness training in a clean and spacious club. Don't wait. Join the judgment-free zone today for that all-day energy. Download the free Planet Fitness app and join today for $1 down, $10 a month.
Deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Now, to tie it back to Nebraska men's basketball, this group has a chance to do something that hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
You know, in making a run in the Big Ten tournament, a serious run, in winning the first NCAA tournament game, but they're not going to get there by doing the same things they've always done. It is on this team to step up and change that narrative. It won't change on its own. Teams won't lay over for you, and that's the mindset shift we haven't consistently seen yet.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson'El.
All right, welcome back into the Don't Punt Hour. Once again, I'm Harrison Arns back here at the 11th and O corner at the 93.7 The Ticket Studios, 402-464-5685. If you guys want to join in here, we'll talk about the biggest bust in any pro sports organization. You guys can go ahead and put your biggest bust of all time, even if it's personal and it's your own franchise. Maybe you're upset with a certain pick. But nonetheless, real quick, I want to push this out here because it's insane. The whole Ben Simmons saga continues. This man has only played out of 129 out of 179 games since he's been with the Brooklyn Nets. Simmons has played 15 games this season while making $38 million. He's set to make over $40 million next year, which will be the end of his 5-year, $170 million extension he signed in 2019. $170 million, and he's so far only played 128 of 178 possible games. That's the worst difference we've seen since Chandler Parsons, for everybody who can remember that. But speaking of that, that's a bust to me. Ben Simmons, pretty clear in day.
Oh, he a bust. I want to hear it.
Yeah, you're overpaying.
Yeah, that's it.
With that being said, give me your biggest bust of all time. I'm gonna put it out there. I'll give another one after, but I think you have to say Greg Oden. The name bust is his name comes up every single time. The knee injuries.
Kwame Brown.
He's two. Kwame Brown, because that was less injuries.
God.
All Kwame Brown. Greg Oden, he had a lot of knee injuries that didn't. I mean, he only had 109 games before he was completely derailed. Kwame Brown, 609 games, just bad stats.
Kwame Brown probably, I think, takes the cake.
Yeah.
Greg, I mean, he physically couldn't move. His knees were just, that. So I'm not. That's different. Like you got hurt and just couldn't bounce back and got hurt again. I'm talking about people that actually could have played that just was absolutely terrible. I would say Kwame first,
and then he's one. Yeah, Kwame's number one. That's what we're doing.
Then I would probably go Russell. That's just real bad. Real bad. Matt Liner.
Mm-hmm.
He had a lot of potential of. I mean, I don't want to say Reggie wasn't a bust. He just wasn't the same as he was in college. You might could say Ricky Williams.
I'll give you a name. See if you remember this one. Remember Adam Morrison, the college basketball phenom that everyone was going electric about? Adam Morrison has one of the weirdest NBA arcs. I shouldn't say weird. It was pretty high and then flatline quick. Adam Morrison, not too far back. That one, I think, because the shooting was so bad in the NBA, which was the one thing in college that made him such a threat.
That one might have took. Oh, so would you say Tebow's a bust?
Yeah, I mean, Tebow's a bust because they tried so. Tebow's worse because they tried so hard to just find a way to get him on the field, and they still couldn't make it work. They tried everything.
I didn't want to say necessarily a bust, but he's on the list. He's on the list.
I mean, he would have played wedge blocker and special teams just to stay on the team. Like, that's tough.
Long snapper. He would have been a good long snapper.
Yeah.
He would have been a good long snapper.
We do got one. Todd Marinovich was a fraudster from 1,000. That's another good one right there. Might have spent a whole hour on this one.
That's a good topic. You would have to think of some stuff and some names. That one. Ooh. Of course, Leach. Of course, Leach. I mean, that's blatantly obvious.
Yeah. When it comes to NFL, I'm trying to think of outside the quarterback position. Running backs are almost never bust. They got that position group figured out. Quarterbacks, hit or miss. Wide receivers, they got that pretty well figured out too. Trying to get another good NFL one before we get out of here.
I might have to look this one up real quick.
Go for it. 464-5685. Give us one more great all-time NFL bust. We got Russell. We got Ryan Leaf. There's got to be another big one that I'm just blanking on right now.
I gotta be.
Adam Morrison's probably still my favorite. And when it comes to a lot of these college basketball centers, it's hard to call a lot of these centers even bust anymore because they play so well. Like you might have thought Luke Garza from Iowa would have been a bust. Frank Kaminsky. I know all these college guys that kind of end up being busts, but you look at Luke Garza, you might have considered him a bust when he got drafted to the Detroit Pistons, but he actually went down to the G League and he's honestly on an absolute tear right now. So you can't even put Luke Garza in that camp anymore. Yep. Okay. I think this is a good one to end on because that's a good one. We do have another one, unknown texter. For the sake of sports radio, we'll get it out of here quick. Lawrence Phillips, unfortunately, he says that's not
a bust.
You wouldn't call that just based on what the ceiling, what you would have expected?
No, I don't think that's a bust. I don't. That's a sad story.
Okay, that's fair. You can put, that's fair.
That's an unfortunate ending to a story. But he didn't. I don't think that's a bust. Good try.
Yeah, fair enough. We do have Doug with mesothelioma. He's chiming in. Trent Richardson as well. So we got a few of those. We might have to break that out again one time. But nonetheless, we're going to get out of here. That is the Morning Pierson'El, the host of the Dope Punt Hour. As always, Harrison Arns on the ones and twos, and don't go anywhere. We have the debut of In the Trenches with Nuri, the former Husker. So plenty of Ticket Weeknights content up ahead. We'll be right back.